Howdy, everybody. So, I'm just going to look into showing off my sets of models here. So this is not much impressive right now, but it's I'm gonna make a decision between which of these two I'm gonna use as the rock. Um, so this one, I found some resources for doing kind of a more procedural thing to make a rock, which I think gives us some really interesting options around like the edges there. So some interesting potential shapes. I just want to figure out if I like what. I don't know how these big old faces are gonna be treating me. The other one, this is one I kind of just did by hand. Did some subdivisions on there as well, and I'm like kind of okay with how that turned out. But I feel like I'm gonna iterate on this one probably. I think the shapes that are there might be worth figuring out some better. But we're gonna move on to the first wall model here. There we go. So here's my 1 meter tall cube for reference. It's it's just one wall piece here, but I stretched it out so I can see how that would look. I've been seeing some of y'all in some previous classes beveling the edges on some of these models to retain those sharp or those really distinct shapes, and while it's like shaded smoothly. So I decided to implement that in most of everything I've done in the rest of this project for the modeling. And I think these are kind of nifty because if I, just as an example, and that ends up looking a lot smoother than it otherwise could. Oh boy, freezing my computer. There we go. It's too dark to see. That's okay. Material preview. I think those would be some nice icy kind of walls, is what I think I have in mind. Now for the rocky walls, we're going to open that'd be wall 2. So I found some references online for some cave walls that kind of have these lines going through them, and they look kind of rounded right here. But I think with the right material on there, that'd look pretty nifty. And I don't have a larger one or a longer one generated right here, but that's easy to do. Give myself some extra wall pieces for some variety. Now, I actually made the icicle first, but this is just a really, maybe a little bit too plain of a ceiling piece right here, but I don't know if I'm going to do much else for it. But I think that's, I probably get away with kind of doing some bits like that, and then use the icicles to, see that kind of blends. But use some of the icicles that I'm about to show off to kind of fill in some of those, leave some of the cracks there because that could look cool. Cancel. Open. Don't save. Now for these, I mean, super simple. Probably a little too big. That's a full meter tall, or more than a meter tall, right there. But I can shrink that down. I found some references because I want to go for a more kind of pseudo cartoony or cell shaded ish kind of design or for the materials that we're going to be making. And I found some neat references from Borderlands. Not a lot for specifically icicles or like ice caves, but there's a little bit. So kind of came up with this design. And then now the one that I feel pretty good about as well here. For the glowing bits, decided to put together some crystals. And I have these as one model, which should, as one object, which should make it more manageable when porting over to something else, but I might need to separate those again when I go to actually apply the materials. We'll see how that all ends up treating me. All right, but that should be everything. I think that was 6 models. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that one I gave up on, but yeah, there we go. All right. Well, y'all, thank you, and looking forward to seeing everybody else's stuff.